Well, good day, everybody. It's Dr. A back in the garden, and I can hardly wait to share some stories from the garden. Because, a garden is not just a bunch of plants. A garden is history, it's what you're doing today, it's beauty. But I tell you what, there are so many cool stories from the garden. I'm not exactly sure how enjoyable listening to the reason a plant is called pleurisy weed. Pleurisy, good grief. Pleurisy is actually a medical condition. It's a condition in which the lining of the lungs, which is referred to as pleura, and the chest wall become inflamed. It is often associated with fluid accumulation between the lung linings. Not fun at all. The symptoms include chest pain during inhalation, tenderness in the chest, and in particular shortness of breath. Pleurisy is not a fun thing to have. We don't seem to have a lot of talk about pleurisy anymore because we found ways to treat it. However, it was not always like that. Pleurisy was far more common in the days before antibiotics. It's not uncommon today, but most cases today are the result of viral infections, and really death is rare, but not so much in the old days, as they say. Notable pleurisy sufferers included Charlemagne, the father of Europe, Catherine de Medici, Benjamin Franklin, William Wordsworth, Tad Lincoln, the youngest son of Abe Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, and Rudolph Valentino, just to name a few. All of these people suffered from pleurisy. So it's no wonder that physicians scoured the plant world to try and find a treatment. Well, they did. In the New World, where we are, a species of milkweed, and you know this plant as butterfly weed, but this species of milkweed was found to be effective in treating pleurisy. The dried roots were used by Native Americans as a remedy for pulmonary infections in general, and physicians seized upon that plant and used it to treat many lung issues, including pleurisy and pneumonia. Now, it's not so much used today for those, but the fact that it was so effective, it became known as pleurisy plant, or pleurisy weed, or pleurisy root. And the fact is that plants today, that we know as butterfly weed, are mainly admired because of the ability to attract butterflies, in particular monarchs. But it was a plant that had many medicinal uses, and you don't call it pleurisy root anymore, but that's its common name from yesteryear. Now, butterfly weed, as we know, is a beautiful plant, but mostly beautiful along roadsides or where it happens to be established. It is a much, much more difficult plant to transplant from the wild, which you don't want to do, so don't even try. A, you don't want to be moving it from the wild because that's where it got established, and B, you're probably going to kill it anyway. Most plants that we transplant from the wild tend not to be very effective in their ability to succeed in a garden. If you wish plants in the garden, buy them from an established nursery. They may be a little bit more expensive, but they're much easier to transplant. Put them in a sunny area and then invite the monarchs home. The fact is that there's not nearly as many native stands of butterfly weed as there used to be, and perhaps that's one of the reasons we have fewer monarch butterflies than we used to have. They abhor wet feet, well-drained, sunny, and just get out of the way. But but when you see these plants now, I hope you will go think not only about monarch butterflies, but about poor Charlemagne and poor Mahatma Gandhi and other people who suffered from pleurisy, and recognize that this plant really has a story. Thanks for listening. I will see you again next time, and we will have another story from the garden. I hope you have enjoyed today's story as much as I've enjoyed sharing it with you. Thank you for listening. For more information and more stories, go to my website, www.alanarmitage.net. If you go to the bookstore, you will see one of my most popular books, Naked Ladies and Forget-Me-Nots, How Plants Get Their Common Names. And another wonderfully popular book is Legends in the Garden. Who in the world is Nellie Stevens? These and other books on the website I think you will enjoy, and I hope you have a chance to take a look at them. Once again, thank you for listening, and I look forward to sharing another story with you next week.